The amount of energy that the community spends on discussing disabled car parking spaces is unbelievable. And one thing that I will say is, instead of talking about all of our bad experiences, I think we need to be advocating for more disabled car parks, which is what it comes down to.
Yeah, when it comes to parking, it's ridiculous, the limited spaces. My mum is constantly, like anytime that we are at a disabled parks and we just have nowhere else to park, my mum's like, nah, screw yous, and goes straight into the pram parking in hopes that someone with a pram will come up and be like questioning her as to why, you know, she parked in a pram park.
Nathan's sitting behind the van and I was getting the rest of our things out of the car and two friendly police officers pulled up next to the vehicle and they're like, it's disabled, it's disabled. And I'm like, I know, thanks mate, cheers.
I've had people stare at me as the driver of the car get out when I've parked in a disabled bay, and they just stare at me and assuming that I'm not disabled. And it's not until I go around to the back of the car and pull out the wheelchair that they will then sort of nod their head and go, yeah, you can park there, and walk off.
It's disabled, and I'm like, there's a guy in a chair.
I actually have a lot of old people look at me as if, what, did you just steal your old grandma's sticker or something?
I think as people realise that more and more disabilities aren't just people in wheelchairs, and those permits aren't only for that people are becoming more tolerant. But I've certainly been subjected to abuse and questioning about it.
You know, the mind automatically goes to, well, if the person's not using a mobility device, what the hell are they doing with the sticker? And it shouldn't go there. I mean, there are lots of other disabilities.
Like recently I went out to the shops and this guy kept death staring me through the window before I even got out of the car. And my mum, she was determined to get out of the car and quickly get my wheelchair out before he left and drove off, just to show him, oh, like I'm in a wheelchair. And it was perfect timing. I was actually crossing the crossing as he pulled up and had to wait for me. And he was staring at me with like such a kind, like it was almost like he was trying to apologize with his eyes. And all I wanted to do is to like put up the finger and be like, see, it's not always like, you know, it's not all about you oldies, sorry guys.
But at the end of the day, the system is the system, and you have to just go with the fact that if they've got a disabled car parking sticker, that they had a doctor who actually knew what they were doing and applied the criteria, and just let it go, or you would spend your entire life absolutely irate that yet again every disabled car park is taken up.